And good afternoon. Welcome to Thursday, the 17th day of July 2014. Another fantastic, beautiful summer day in the Northeast. Yes, we're getting some rain during the weekdays, but then the weekend comes and just amazing. Just amazing. I want to start off once again with the water vapor loop. And as you can see, we got that old front that's hung up along the coast here that's trying to move offshore slowly but surely. This trough, let me go up a little bit here. This trough, all that cold air from that so-called polar vortex digging down from Canada, bringing all that cool dry air all the way down to the Gulf states for this time of year, which is pretty incredible. A little bit of a wave forming out here, which I'm going to show you right now on the Earth map. Here you have a massive area of high pressure out over the Atlantic, just basically overwhelming the whole map. You can see the front. Uh-oh. What did we do? We pressed on it. That's not good. Give me a few seconds. There we go. You can see the front right in here. Front of it, the winds are out ahead of it. The winds are blowing up out of the south. Behind it, you can see they're coming out of the north and northwest. This is basically the line that's been creeping across the country, giving all the severe thunderstorms over the past several days. And finally, it has pushed off the east coast. A little bit of a storm formed on the tail end of that system, and you always got to watch out for these little waves that form off the southeast coast on the back end of cold fronts, because sometimes they can, especially if the front's stalling out, they can spin up because of the convergence zone here. But right now I think it's a little hostile. The winds down here aloft, so I'm not worried about it right now, but it's something you got to watch out for. Meanwhile, like I said, cool, dry Canadian air is just pretty much taken over, most of the country here. We'll look at our dew point map, which shows basically the humidity factor here, and remember, anything less than 60 is comfortable. Anything between 60 and 65, which is manageable. And as you start getting into the darker reds, it gets more and more oppressive until you're in the 70s. Now, normally this time of year, you'd have this dark 70s, through the Carolinas, Tennessee, all the Gulf states, and patches here and there up in the plains or northeast. But as you can see here, we're comfy, everywhere pretty much. I mean, except for the deep south and off the coast where that front is still hung up. But for the middle of July, this is just a unbelievable pattern of tolerable air. Radar, pretty quiet right now. In fact, what you got up here over central New York, heading towards the Albany area, if it holds together, it's basically a little lake effect, popcorn lake effect rain that you basically got cool air coming over the relatively warmer waters, and you've got a pocket of cold air aloft up here that basically the sun's working on, and you're getting these popcorn showers and maybe a few rumbles of thunder. You also have to watch in this kind of weather pattern in the lakes here of a little water spout tornadic spin up. Usually they're only in the water or just along the shore. They're not like a huge land tornado by any means, but it is summertime and people are out boating and on beaches and stuff like that, and something you need to watch out for. Current weather map again shows you got that cold front, which is barely limping off the coast here. It goes all the way down into northern Florida, off the coast into the Gulf, and then back through Texas and snaking back up into the intermountain west. It is, I can't express once again how unusual it is for this time of the year to basically have a Canadian air mass basically dominate, a good 3/4 of the country like this, and basically summer, for all intents and purposes, is shunned to the south of this boundary here. Now, of course, this isn't going to stay like this. It'll gradually start lifting back north as this Canadian high starts lifting out with the trough. But really, kind of an amazing thing for this time of year. But the nice weather up here should continue, and I see this as a recurring pattern here with these Canadian highs, coming down behind these strong, unusually strong summer fronts. You can see these little troughs that swing through, and each one of these, it's hard to see because it's off the map here. This is what one of them looks like, but I'm pointing to these over here. Each one of these represents basically a boundary of a new push of cooler, drier air that's coming down behind them from the north. So they're just getting reinforced here, and usually this time of year, this is when you get a front through maybe every 7, 8, 10 days. So the heat has a chance to build, but with these troughs swinging through constantly, it really doesn't give the heat and humidity a time to build. And when it does start to build back from the south to the north, you can see the end. This is what I said in the beginning of the year was most likely going to happen. That there would be hot and humid stretches, but you'd be able to see the end of that particular stretch because there'd be a relief shot of cooler or drier air on the way. And that's also why I also predicted at the beginning of the summer that this would be a good season for thunderstorms. That there'd be a lot of activity in the central part of the country and the eastern part of the country due to the clash of the air mass on a regular basis. One more thing I want to go through here, and this is kind of new. This is a live, up-to-date map of the sunspots, okay, on the surface of the sun. Right now we got basically one solar flare, one outbreak on the whole entire sun at a time when we're supposed to basically be at a sunspot maximum. And this is also very unusual. And the thing about the sunspots are that with the lack of solar activity coming into the Earth's atmosphere, it tends to, over the long term, when the sun is quiet like this, do a couple of really, really quiet cycles now. And the last time we had a maximum cycle this low, basically we were talking about the 1800s, and Hudson freezing over, and the Thames freezing over, and these were like historical times. So it's just something to watch because it just a lot of people. This is actually the sunspots over the last 2 weeks to show you. There were a few, and they've gradually once again disappeared off the chart as the period went on. But this is just to show you that all this talk about global warming and what science seems to see as settled, that we're going to have all these catastrophic things. The sun is the ultimate thing that drives our global climate patterns, and if the sun goes quiet, it's like pulling a shade down in your house. In the early morning, your room is not going to get nearly as warm as it would be if you had the shade wide open and all the sun's rays would come in. And that's basically the same effect it has on the Earth's atmosphere and ultimately on the Earth's surface. So this is the wild card in everything. And even if global warming was taking place, which I don't believe now that it is, but even if it was taking place, this would overwhelm that, because this alone over a long period of time, being a quiet sun, could drop the Earth's temperature, several degrees. So this is something I'm just going to keep an eye on and bring up in future videos, and we'll see how it's going. But looks like it's going to be a nice week and late week and weekend again in the Northeast. string of beauties is going to continue. We'll get back to some more showers again next week as the warm air fights back, and then we'll probably talk about the cooler air fighting back again later in the week, and just rinse, wash, repeat. But so far, no bad extremes this summer. So that's about it. Gonna go and just let you know, enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.